watching Spoiler Alert on ENTV.
Oh, I guess Melissa Rauch from The Big Bang Theory is doing the Spoiler Alert introductions now?
I'm telling
I didn't
you,
get the memo.
I'm telling you, next week, Simon Helberg will be sitting in my seat.
Welcome to Spoiler Alert, where we talk about and spoil the shows you're obsessed with. This week, Matt Mitovich and I hit on all the big premieres, including How I Met Your Mother.
This calls for some champagne. I think there's some in the fridge.
Grey's Anatomy and The Good Wife. The evil queen from Once Upon a Time swoops in with a spellbinding scoop, and the cast of Homeland teases the big twist in episode 2.
Lots to talk about this week.
So much to talk about. Let's start on Monday, How I Met Your Mother. We met the mother.
Yeah.
The final scene, she shows up at the train station in the rain. Ted is right there, just a few feet away. Obviously, the umbrella is obscuring her face.
Right, and I'm guesstimating she's probably like 5'9".
Yeah, a little hard to tell because of the umbrella, but I think that's
So that
probably
eliminates
fair.
some casting.
But clearly setting up the end game. We don't know if this is the final season, but if it isn't, next season will definitely be the final season. And I think even if it does get renewed for one more season, I think the finale, they would reveal who the woman is.
You don't want to spend a little
train
time with her
station.
afterwards, though?
I do, that's what I mean. This finale, they'll reveal her, and then next season, we'll get to know her a little bit more. And I have to say, it's been a long time coming, but I still got goosebumps when I saw that yellow umbrella appear.
Yeah.
You know, there's something exciting about this reveal. You know, it's been almost a decade in the making.
There was a different kind of goosebumps we had on Monday night watching Castle, which I think they did really well with the whole morning after now that Rick and Kate finally hooked up.
Was it good for you, Matt?
So it wasn't a dream.
No, you definitely weren't dreaming.
There was some great physical comedy, some really frothy banter. The case itself, Beckett got some new leads on her mother's murder. I think the show's going to get a little bit of a creative rejuvenation, the kind of way that Bones did last season once they brought Booth and Brennan together.
What are you going to do in the meantime?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I'll think of something.
Moving on to Private Practice. I haven't seen it yet. How did they write Tim Daly out?
Tim Daly's character, he got arrested at the end of last season for euthanizing a patient. So we started off the episode with,
Where's Daddy?
He went for a run.
then there's this conspicuous tremor, like there's an earthquake going on in their area of California. So my prediction right away, we're like 60 seconds into the episode, I'm predicting there was an earthquake of sorts, the earth opened up and Pete fell into the crevasse or something.
He had a heart attack lying in the dirt by himself off a path in Runyon Canyon.
I was this close to it. I still believe that there was a tremor that made him slip and fall.
So was there a moment? Did the cast mourn him? Was there a funeral?
I think that's the coming week.
Oh, okay.
That's the big thing that gathers everybody together for the 100th episode, which I guess Shonda said had standards and practices on standby.
Maybe it's an open casket and his face is mutilated.
Interesting.
Grey's Anatomy.
Speaking of Shonda shows.
Very interesting premiere. A couple things caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting the flashbacks.
Are you filming this?
I know Shonda had said it was a fitting farewell to Eric Dane. Let's point out these are new recreated flashbacks.
Right.
It's not like they used old footage. We saw all these special moments. I got a little choked up when he was giving the toast at Callie in Arizona's wedding.
Well, if you had a partner, who would it be?
And he admitted that Lexi was sort of the love of his life.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's easy. Lexi Gray.
Since I knew or had heard the rumor about Arizona's leg being amputated, some of the suspense was taken out of that.
And they tried to cheat it. They kind of tried to trick us into thinking that she died
Right.
at a couple points there.
I liked the scene in the airport with Meredith and Alex hugging when he decided he was going to stay. That seemed like a really sweet moment between the two of them.
And then as far as Owen, when he brushed past Alex at the airport, did you think he was going to see Christina?
Without question.
Yeah, but instead he goes to the farm to fetch April.
Right, which was kind of a cool little twist.
I thought it was a very entertaining episode.
Yep.
Shonda's very good at rebooting the show every couple of seasons, and I was on board with a lot of the additions. You know, Tina Margarino's character, Camilla Luddington joining the cast, Gaius Charles. I think, you know, she's always good at planting these new people in there that could blossom, they could turn into the next generation, they could get killed off in the next Sweeps episode.
And the ratings, the show did really well, like 13 million or maybe 11,
it was up
11
from last
million.
year's premiere, it was up from last year's finale, which is just really rare. I mean,
9 seasons in, that's remarkable.
Yep.
We had a visitor stop by the office.
Lana Parrilla came by the other day
to
talk about Once Upon a Time.
That's right.
And she answered the burning question, now that Mary Margaret and Emma have fallen through this portal and landed in the current day version of Fairy Tale Land.
Sideways world, essentially.
Right. It's up to Regina to get them back. You know, Henry's basically told her, get them back, or I'm not going to have anything to do with you. But, you know, this has got to be Regina's dream come true. She's gotten rid of them.
Right.
So I asked Lana, how invested is Regina going to be in actually getting them back from Fairy Tale Land?
Can't wait to see what she says.
I believe she's extremely invested in getting them back. Reasons being that without them, she won't have Henry. She needs them home and safe in order to continue a relationship with her son.
And yet, A small part of her.
A small part of her is like, oh, that was easy. It was almost like she needed that button and just, that was easy, and just, if she had it, she would have pressed it.
That was quite a little cackle.
Yeah, she's a little giddy there about getting rid of the gals.
From the bad witch to the good wife.
Yes.
The show is back, love it. Only the good wife can make a random traffic stop seem compelling.
I should have fallen asleep.
That was a very surprisingly good storyline.
Really good storyline, multi-layered.
On paper, you hear, Zach gets pulled over by a cop, and you're like, oh boy, here's a C story if there ever was one.
Right, and I was riveted from beginning to end.
Yeah.
But the big news is Clinda's husband. I love how he sort of snuck in through the law firm. People didn't know who he was at
I was
first.
so jealous of the handful of people out there who didn't know that Mark Warren was playing Clinda's husband,
yes,
and or didn't know what Mark Warren looks like.
Right.
'Cause if you're in that itty-bitty group of people, you had your socks blown off because you didn't know that this new client was going to turn out to be the husband.
I have to imagine in a perfect world, Robert and Michelle King would have loved to have kept that secret.
Right.
But of course, casting, when someone's cast, it's impossible, really.
But on the flip side, those who knew, you kind of were just sitting there waiting. How are their paths going to cross? How is she going to find out what's going to be like once they actually set eyes on each other? And then that led to the whole elevator scene where she just beat the tarnation out of them.
Sometimes I feel like it's almost two shows, The Good Wife. It's like the legal show and then it's the Calinda show with martial arts and intrigue and sexual button pushing.
We've seen the first couple of episodes and they've got a really twisted relationship.
Well,
Clinda
we saw
and
the
this
ice cream
guy.
scene that we have been blind iteming online for a while now. That kind of lives up to the hype. I was watching it, it was like, wow.
There's nothing subtle about it.
No, nothing subtle.
Yeah,
they have a dirty,
nothing's
messed
left
up
to interpretation
relationship.
there, yeah.
Off to a good start. I've seen the first 3 episodes. Some really good Alicia Peters stuff.
Yeah, they're getting a little warm and fuzzy there, the two of them.
Yeah, there's a really sweet scene in episode 3 with the two of them. Moving on to Homeland, another fantastic premiere.
I like how Carrie had that little smile at the very end of the episode. The episode was called Smile. She has this little grin at the end because she's back doing what she loves to do.
That smile was everything to me. It was like, that says so much about what the show is. It was perfect. It was like a little wicked, it was wrong, but for the character, it was just perfect.
As far as Brody, you saw that how naive he must have been, thinking that, at the end of the last season, it was all convincing Abu Nazir, oh, well, I can affect change through foreign policy, which the show creators told me, would make for a pretty boring show.
Yeah.
But now he's being leveraged by Zalika Robinson's character to, do some dirty deeds and to get codes and to help with this latest terror attack. So it's going to be interesting, this crisis of conscience he's going to have there.
Now, we've seen the first 2 episodes, so we know the second episode, huge twist.
I can't believe they went there so quickly.
Yes. When I was at the Emmys, it's all the cast and Howard Gordon, the creator, was talking about, the big twist in episode 2. Let's see what they had to say. I've seen the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
I'm not bragging, just laying it out there. And boy, is there a twist at the end of episode 2 that I didn't see coming.
Keep that little mouth of yours closed.
I didn't say anything. It's kind of ballsy of you to kind of go there.
One thing we've learned is really not to leave anything. It really isn't about sort of spreading it out and waiting for something to happen. If we have it, we want to bring it and move the story forward. And in some ways, I think in hindsight, you'll see that it wasn't as ballsy. It was kind of inevitable.
Can you say what your reaction was when you read the script, that was happening?
I can't say what happened. It was a physical thing that it's not polite to say.
Every time I read a script, I go, how the hell can they keep going after this?
I tweeted straight away, I went, oh my God, I just can't believe we're here already. And see, episode 2, we've got like 10 episodes to go and you're taking it here already.
What you've seen in many ways is sort of a preamble. The first 2 episodes are almost a preamble for the next, for the rest of the season. Episode 3 kind of really tells us what the rest of the season's about.
Yeah.
As soon as you read the first episode, you knew it was going to be a great year, and then everything that's come since has just been fantastic. It just keeps building, and it's even better than last year.
So now they were very careful to tease but not spoil. Clearly, it's a game changer, and they all made that very clear.
People will scream.
And also, I don't think it's a spoiler to say I was relieved by it. I was relieved by the twist.
And yet, I am filled with dread about what happens next.
Really?
Yes. Because if nothing happens next, that says something big about something else.
Interesting.
I hope I didn't reveal too much with
I don't
that.
think you did.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't even understand what you just said. Well, thank you, Matt, for stopping by.
Always a pleasure.
As the credits roll, Kristen Schaal from 30 Rock is going to drop the mother of all scoops about the new season, the final season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What's your arc?
Oh, I'm probably just going to show my
It's a good thing because I'm losing weight. By the time they cut to me, when the show's on.
Anything else?
Well, do I need to?
Hi, I'm Kevin Williamson, and you're watching ENTV.
Hey
I'm Miranda Cosgrove, and you're watching ENTV.
Hello, I am Jennifer Goodwin, and you are watching ENTV.